Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Abilities Podcast. I am your host, Nick Earhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. All right, everyone. So today we have Matt Taylor, and he is a speaker. So I know that this is going to help a lot of my listeners and myself. So, Matt, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Nick. And good afternoon, everyone. Yes, my name is Matt Taylor, and I am a public speaker. I have been in the field a few years, but what's been very fascinating to me is the challenges that it's very common that we all run into when we've got to do a presentation for the boss, or we've got to speak at a conference in front of a few hundred people, maybe even more. And we are all challenged in those fears, those initial fears that we feel. And I have been delighted to be able to use as an opportunity for me to not only challenging myself and overcoming that fear of public speaking, but being able to help other people and coach other people on what they could do to help overcome that fear. I feel that we all have the gift to be able to speak. Sure, we're all different people, just like you can never say two personalities are exactly the same, because they're not. Mm-hmm. But yet we all have that ability to be able to communicate, to speak. It's just working at what we've got to work at to be able to get to the level that we want to get to. So again, Nick, I appreciate your invitation for me being on your podcast.
Of course. And, I do feel like we all have that fear of getting in front of people and talking. I know I have it, even though I talk to people all day, every day. But it's like when you actually step foot on a stage in front of, maybe hundreds, thousands, who knows. It's intimidating. So what is like one thing that you help people with that helps them get over that fear?
Sure. Well, what I tell people and what I assist them with is making sure when they have that date set that they're going to be doing a big speech, whatever the date of that event is, to make sure that they plan for that accordingly. Don't ever go in cold going up on stage or going in front of a group of people in a boardroom. Don't ever approach it cold. Work the time to practice what you need to practice. And I know that sounds so basic when you say practice makes perfect. You can apply that to so many things, but believe me, it fits just as well in speaking, because you may know the topic, you may know what to deliver and how to say it, but there is something about practicing how you will deliver it, practicing how you will communicate it, how you will structure, how you will work each particular segment based on the audience that you're going to be delivering it to. So that's what I tell people. You segment off the necessary amount of time that you're going to do to practice that. The other piece with that, depending, like Nick, like you're saying, if you're going to be going on a stage in front of hundreds of people, definitely take the opportunity to present what you're going to do in front of a group of people you trust, whether they're their family, their colleagues, and go through it. And any feedback they give you is only going to help with you enhancing that presentation you'll do on the big day. And then the last thing I tell people, Nick, is when it comes time for that event, take a break, because you put so much time and energy into it that you've got to give yourself a rest before you go out there on showtime. I always use the parallel back when we were in school, whether it's high school, college, and you're studying for that big exam. There comes a point that you've done everything you're supposed to do. So when it's on exam day, I know with me, I would always be just reading a paper or reading a book, because I know that I'm ready and I'm good to go. So treat your event and your speech, your big date, the same way. You've done everything you can do. You're ready to go. So give yourself a break, and it can be anything that that takes your mind off of the speech. If it's, say, something you're presenting in a boardroom at work, make sure you and it's in the afternoon. Take your lunch break. Go outside. Do a little pleasure reading if that's something you enjoy, because that's always something I enjoy when that big time is coming. But whatever you can do, just take that break, step away from it. So then when it comes time, you're rested and you're ready to go. So those are the three things I advise people, Nick.
I like that, and I like the fact of taking a break, because it's kind of like how we can work and learn all day long, but we need to sleep to actually remember things. A lot of what you remember actually happens when you rest.
Sure.
So I think it kind of goes along with what you're saying. So it's awesome. And then now, I know for me, what has helped me, kind of craft how I speak, and I'm constantly, trying to improve. So I'm glad you're here, because I've already learned a few things. So thank you. But one of the things that I do is I record myself and then watch it,
Sure.
and then I can change the way I do things. Is that something that you do?
Yes, that is something I do, Nick. It's and that's actually probably something you do earlier on, because before you speak to the group of people as kind of that dress rehearsal before the big show, is make sure you do record yourself first. And yes, I have done that, because you'll be surprised, and I mean in positive, negative ways, what you're seeing on that screen. And I think, thank goodness, nowadays we have the technology to be able to do it so easily, where you can record your presentation, you can record your speech. But yes, doing that, and then you're giving yourself it's like you're giving yourself your self feedback first, kind of the self evaluation, the self feedback, and then work those in as you continue to practice before that dress rehearsal.
Yeah, and a good thing to do when you do record yourself is, like, when you're while watching it, shut the volume off and just see how you present yourself. Because how you look, it really makes a difference to how people take what you're saying.
Sure.
And then shut the video off and just listen. Just listen to how you're talking. I think that can help a lot.
Definitely.
So awesome. And how long have you been speaking on stages?
Yeah, I have been going at it at Nick. At this point, it's been, as far as going back to being on stage, where I really wanted to take on and speaking, and it become a part of my life and my career. It's been about a little over 2.5 years. Come April, it'll be 3 years.
Awesome.
For the time that I've been going on this. Yes, sir.
Awesome. That's awesome. And then, is that about the same time that you started helping other people?
Correct. Yeah, it all kind of started, Nick, when I've been an avid member of Toastmasters for many years. I did it initially just for my own self-improvement. I knew with my work, we had to speak to people. We had to speak in front of people, and it scared the tar out of me. It was just not easy to do. And one of my colleagues at the time told me about Toastmasters. We're going, like I said, we're going back years. We're talking like 2010, 2009. Okay. But what was so handy was the club was right on my floor. So I didn't have to go far at all just to check it out. But when I saw that they're all about you improving in speaking, it struck a chord with me, because I needed that. I needed it very strongly. But then when I started getting better and I started speaking, I would get compliments on how I spoke, on how I presented. And that lit a little fire in me that said, well, maybe I have something more than I realized I had. I discovered something about myself. And at that point is when and this would be, like I say, we're talking in the 2021 time frame. That was when I saw, I think I want to pursue this more. I want to be able to not only be able to pursue speaking as my own, but use what I've learned in my journey. Because, like I said, this all started in 2009, 2010. Now we're at 21 is when I decided. And that's a good 10 years of experience of what I had to do to get to the point that I'm at. And so I've been able to use that as assistance. And not only that, using that, researching. So I have not just Matt Taylor's story, but the research that I've gained with it to be able to help other people along the way. But yeah, that's how it all got going.
That's awesome. And I love how you talk about how you initially started for your own self-improvement. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, when I had started with my career with the state, just a quick short background of me. I'm prior military. I was Air Force officer for about 7 years. Got out and moved back to Atlanta, which is where I've always considered home. And I was fortunate to get an opportunity to work for the state. And when I got the day I started my job, the commissioner at the time, who was the one that actually made the decision to hire me, we had an all staff meeting that day. And when that gentleman opened his mouth, it just like everything was silent. The crowd was immediately engaged. And that inspired me, Nick. I was like, I'd like to be like that someday, where I can just speak and people listen, to have that charisma and not using notes, just being able to deliver your message, making that eye contact, making that connection with people. That's where I want to be. So, but obviously in front of people, I was scared. I was nervous. So with having discovered Toastmasters and the opportunity to work at that, what happened, Nick, is it helped me look in myself on what I needed to do to get better. And sometimes that's a little humbling. It's not something that we can easily just, where we know who we are, and to take criticism, and criticism is kind of a strong word, feedback. Taking feedback can be hard. And I know with me, like one of the things I was told was I spoke really quickly. And I got, and it's because, of course, I was nervous. Also, that I had a tendency to look down, look at what I was writing, look at what I was stating. And I had to work at that. I had to work at that feedback so I could get it right. And I would do that. I would start off by, I would have a physical copy of my presentation in front of me. I would be in my little cube where I was basically just practicing making the eye contact, jotting down a couple of words. But it was not anything that was noticeable that I'm looking at something. I could just glance and go, is like I would say. But now I've gotten to the point I don't even have to do that. Because I've gotten so used to working at that. But that was the thing, Nick. It's people can try and help you. They can try and coach you. But you've got to be able to accept the feedback that they give you so you can do better. And thankfully, I did. It was a little pride swallowing at times between what my Toastmasters peers would tell me, what my boss would tell me. Taking that feedback and going with it was a big step for me. But once I did it, I was glad I did. And it's not that there isn't feedback that I don't get later on, as the challenges we take on continue to increase, because you want to grow. You want to continue to grow in the field and in your craft and in your career. And so, yeah, when some feedback is given, it might sting a little bit, but I know that it's incorporating it is going to get to something better. So it's being willing to accept that, Nick. You asked how was that done early on and with coaching and with helping others. That's where it was with me. It's accepting that feedback and being able to work with it. Use it as an opportunity to get better. Taking that step, you'll get there.
And for most of us, accepting that feedback is hard. Because like you say, you all just kind of, kind of put up a wall, and it's like, no, just accept it, think about it, maybe journal about it, and change it so you can improve. And hey, I'm sure you had feedback that just isn't right. you just don't agree with that, and that's okay too. But
Correct.
getting that feedback, and even if it's negative or positive, it's a good thing
It
because it's
is.
going to help you out.
Absolutely.
So awesome. And
Yeah.
then, what are you currently speaking about these days?
Well, a couple of things, Nick. One thing that I've been working on now is I am in the process of competing in my Toastmasters district. We had
Cool.
our international speech contest just a few weeks ago, and I
Mhm.
won. So
Awesome.
thank you. Yes, I'm going on to compete in the area contest now that comes up in January, and again, it's a speech about life. I want to incorporate just the I love traveling, and traveling
Mhm.
is something that's always been um it's always been a part of me, but it's something I've really grown to appreciate,
Yeah.
especially in
Same
the
here.
past. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, in the past 10 to 15 years, and with that, the importance that the various family members in my life that have
Mhm.
obviously that I've been closest to, how special moments that you feel with them during travel, because we kind of get into the day-to-day sometimes. We know our family, we know our parents, our siblings, our spouse, but something special about traveling, when that you see, you hear amongst the people that you're with so much of your life, there's just something special about the traveling. So that's what I speak on, is the special moments that I had with my mother, as she would being born and raised in Ireland, she would take my sister and I over to the Emerald Isle every 3 years. We'd spend the summer out there. And
That's
then my
cool.
dad, who absolutely loves hiking, we had the opportunity to do El Camino together back in Spain back in 2022. And then, of course, my wife, Adriana, we got an opportunity to go on a wonderful European cruise back in 2023, and it was, of course, a wonderful time there. So
I bet.
special moments incorporating my mom, my dad, my sister, and then my wife, working that into a
So,
speech that I'm presenting at the area. The other thing I've been doing, Nick, is because speaking's very important, but
mhm.
I like to do research and write about it too, because and it not only does it is it helpful to other people, that it helps me being able to see, wow, this is where all this comes from. This is, and not just that, but seeing other people, that some famous people at that fact,
Mhm.
that they had to struggle with it. And it inspires me to go further. So I've been writing some material. It hasn't yet been published, but I've been doing some writing, writing an article, that I've now submitted, waiting on the approval, but about, again, what people can do to overcome that fear of public speaking, just taking that step and overcoming that fear. And then, like I said, I've written some research with it. A person I came across in my readings was a Steve Jobs. That I know he's passed now, but what an impact that man made
Mhm. Oh
with
yeah.
Apple and with technology. But it blew my mind how that man struggled with public speaking back in the 70s. And they
Mhm.
say, even looking at some of his YouTube videos that come from the early 80s, when he was already becoming a big name, yet he was still scared of having his hands on the lectern because he was
Yep.
shaking and he was nervous, but he worked at it and worked at it and worked at it and became a great speaker. But
Mhm.
it's just that the time he had to put in to get over that fear and to become the individual with that charisma that he became known for. So yeah,
Yep.
those are the big things going on right now.
That's awesome. And nobody is born a public speaker. I don't
Correct.
think anybody is. Like you need to learn it. You gotta practice it, and most importantly, you just gotta get out and do it. You
Yeah.
know, I remember my first speaking engagement. It was only like 20 people, but I was hired to do it, and
Mm-hmm.
man, I was so nervous. Like I was
Sure.
shaking, I was sweating, I was stuttering more than usual, and
Sure.
but about halfway through my hour, ended up being over an hour, but I was scheduled for an hour. And about halfway through, I just all of a sudden I was like, I got this. Like it was just
That's
like
right.
a weight lifted off, and I was just like confident again. I was like, I got this. And yeah,
Sure.
that hour speech ended up going for an hour and a half because at the end I did Q&A, and
Okay.
everybody loved that. So yeah,
Neat.
yeah. So it was cool. Now I just need to get out there and get on some more stages, because that's what I want to do. One of my
That's right.
goals is to be on a in-person stage at least once a month. You know,
Wonderful.
yep.
Okay.
So and as you know, the one thing that comes with it is traveling, and like you were talking about, I love traveling. So
Sure.
yeah, I'm pretty excited. This episode of the Infinite Abilities podcast is brought to you by the one and only Infinite Toolbox, where just like all other toolboxes, we will get the job done, guaranteed. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to save time, boost revenue, or automate your processes, Infinite Toolbox has got you covered. With powerful tools designed to drive leads, expand your reach, and gain your industry secrets, we help you work smarter, not harder. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Visit us at infinitetoolbox.com. That's infinitetoolbox.com, and discover how infinite your potential really is.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, all right, and I gotta say, like, you can just tell by listening to you, even for the people that can't see, just listening, you can tell you're a pro. Right? That's for sure. Just
Thanks.
your tones, the way you engage the audience, like it's really cool to be on a call with you because I've been learning so much about public speaking and communication that it's like I'm noticing like everything that you're doing. So it's really, really cool.
Thanks.
So how can people reach out to you to work with you?
Sure. Yeah, I can give you the I have a website. Matt Taylor Speaks is the website. But I can give you a quick email address and phone number for anyone that wishes to shoot me a text or fire me an email.
All
Um,
right.
and that the my Yahoo account is Matt, so that's two T's, then Taylor, Taylor 969 at yahoo.com. And then my phone number is 404 803 4344.
Okay. Awesome. And I will put that in the show notes as well so people can
Great.
find you.
Sure.
And then I gotta ask you, my slogan is your abilities are infinite. What does that mean to you?
The the abilities are infinite. Was that the question?
Your abilities are infinite.
Yeah. Very true. What that tells me, Nick, is we can all expand in our life, even areas that we're gifted with and we're good at. We can still do even better. There's always room for improvement, no matter what field that we work in, what area we operate in. There is always room to grow. I see
Yep.
some speakers and they blow me away, man. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
someday I'll be up there. But you got to appreciate where you've gotten, where you've come
Mm-hmm.
from, where you're at. But yes, abilities are infinite. We can always improve on what we do. And then if you want to take on a new challenge, something you haven't done before, that's an opportunity as well. And like I said, with writing, I only have gotten into writing within the past year. it's something that always intrigued me. I mean, I did it in graduate school and whatnot, but as far as, again, freelance and supporting what I do as a speaker,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure, well, what do I say? How do I go about it? But pushing yourself to do it when it's you're focusing on what you want to focus on, I've been very pleased at what I've seen. And again, if a friend of mine, Dr. Cunningham, hadn't made that suggestion of me getting into writing, I don't know if I would have done that. But to your point, again, Nick, abilities, we have them, and we may not always know we have them, but they're definitely infinite, because we never know what we can do. The human being can certainly surprise him or herself at the challenges we take on and are able to accomplish.
Yeah, I think that was perfectly said. So thank you for sharing that. And then,
Thanks.
you know what? You're the professional. I'm going to let you end this however you like.
Thank you, Nick. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the opportunity to be on your podcast. And I just want to say to people, don't give up on being a speaker. Don't be worried about where you are now, because we all come from a certain place. Yeah. But the fact that you want to improve as a speaker, you've already taken that first big step. So wanting to do that is the first step. Just keep at it. Keep at it wherever you are on the journey as a communicator and a speaker. Just keep at it. Keep working at those challenges, and I guarantee you'll get there.
All right, awesome. Thank you for ending it on that note. That was amazing. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate it. And I wish you a good week and happy holidays.
You too.
Hey.
If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me here, the Nick Gearhart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. Alright, everyone, remember, your abilities are infinite.